Hey there everybody, and welcome back to Fantasy Inc. My name is Wyeth, and today we're doing something a little different. This video is going to be on my 5 favorite non-fiction books, mainly memoirs and self-help books that I've really enjoyed, and I hope that y'all can find some out of this list that you might as well. Let's do this. Coming in at number 5, we have Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. For those of you who may not be aware of David Goggins, he is a beast. He is a former Navy SEAL as well as a super marathon runner. Basically, he runs races that people would not even dream about. It's 100-mile races, usually up and down mountains and deserts. He does things that you just can't believe are humanly possible, and he does it with a smile on his face. What really made this book stand out to me is the lesson of perseverance, as well as the fact that no matter where you start and what your beginnings are, you can really accomplish anything you put your mind to as long as you have the dedication and the heart to do it. He has a very troubling childhood. And basically, when he gets to around his mid-20s, he's leading a life of mediocrity and a job that he doesn't very much care for, and he's incredibly overweight. And one day he just makes the decision and says, I'm gonna go be a Navy SEAL. And he has about 2 months to lose close to like 80 pounds to make weight for this, and he's able to do it, but that's not where his journey stops. David Goggins is truly a beast and is one of my role models when it comes to just his mindset. And if y'all have not checked this book out, it is definitely worth a read. Number 4 on this list is going to be A Life in Parts by Bryan Cranston. One of my favorite actors as well as one of my favorite memoirs. Bryan Cranston just shows you how humble he is in his writing and really only does acting for the love of acting. He's not doing it for the fame, he's not doing it for the money, though I'm sure it doesn't hurt. He truly loves the process and the art of acting in itself, and that really comes across in his writing. We get to see his very wholesome start to life as well as some funny journeys here and there. One specific one is a motorcycle trip across the country with his brother. But we also get to see how he started his career and the different parts that he was playing at the time, where he was at in his personal life, and how it helped his acting, to be quite candid. Obviously, many people know him as Heisenberg from Breaking Bad, but he was the father from Malcolm in the Middle, the dentist from Seinfeld, as well as he's been in quite a few movies. And it's very evident that he is just a good guy and has a great outlook on life itself. And if you're looking for a trip down memory lane through Bryan Cranston's career, or just a positive outlook on life, this is the book for you. Number 3 on this list is going to be The Ballad of the Whiskey Robber, a true story about a Romanian man who moves to Hungary named Attila Ambros, looking for more opportunities. This man lived an unbelievable life, and it's shocking that this story is not actually fiction. To give a brief summary on the man, he was a professional hockey player in Hungary and was just garbage at it, but apparently they don't have many other options, so they decided to put him on the team. And while he's doing that, while being in the papers, as hockey was fairly popular over there, he is robbing banks and postal offices on the side. And to do so, he has to get blind drunk to build up the courage for it, which is where the whiskey robber comes in. It's an immaculate story about the ineptitude of the police officers chasing him in that city, as well as just the blind luck that Attila often finds himself in. It's a fantastic read if you're looking for a laugh or just to be amazed at this man's antics, and I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed in this one. Number 2 on this list is going to be The Richest Man in Babylon. This is a financial literacy book that teaches very simple pieces of advice to keep in mind, and if you follow them, I guarantee you it will help you on your financial journey as well as obtain the goals that you want to reach. The story is told in multiple parts from multiple perspectives, and it's able to very clearly and concisely pass this message along depending on the various rules that one should follow if they want to build wealth. But the stories are done in a very entertaining way and you truly get lost in the pages. One of my favorite rules from the book, and one I've tried to stick with my entire life, is 10% of all you earn is yours to keep. You might be thinking, well, everything I earn is mine to keep. But that's not true. You've got rent to pay, and you've got to keep the lights on, and you've got to make sure you've got water coming into your house. And after all said and done, after entertainment expenses and, oh Lord, food expenses, then you realize that you're actually living paycheck to paycheck. If you put 10% of your earnings away and just don't touch it, eventually you're going to have a decent pile of change that you can then invest. That's just one of the many rules from this book, and whenever I have someone asking for financial advice, I always point them in the direction of this book. Before I get to number 1 on this list, I definitely want to throw out some notable mentions. First, I'm going to go with Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. This is a very interesting book going into the Oscar-winning actor's life, how he came from a very wholesome start, and we get to see the power of journaling. Some of the sections in this book are so detailed from his earlier life, and that's because he was able to look back at his own journals, get to relive his earlier years. And this is one of the main reasons that I journal myself, to be able to look back and get a glimpse into my thoughts as a younger man. Another notable mention is Snowball, the Warren Buffett memoir. This is a great piece of work where we get to look into the life of one of the most interesting and wealthy men on the planet. He has a mind that I cannot describe in words other than type A to the 100%. He is able to just pore over mountains and mountains of data before investing in a company. And it goes to show you that if you want to make incredible gains, then you have to be able to put the work in, no matter if it's financial, physical, or spiritual. The biggest lesson I took away from Snowball is the power of exponential growth. Even if you're starting with just a couple dollars in your pocket, in 40 years, if you invest that right, you will be a millionaire. And if you keep that in mind, things don't seem too bad after all. Finally, my last notable mention is going to be I'm Glad My Mom Is Dead by Jeanette McCurdy. This is an incredible story about a childhood actress who dealt with so much trauma, but is still able to come out on top and turn her life into what she wants it to be. She's no longer acting, she's a writer now, and I have to say she's got the chops for it. This book definitely tears your heart out in certain parts of it. I'm just so amazed at the strength of Jeanette McCurdy for being able to open up to the public about this situation of her childhood and at the same time walk tall. So I highly recommend this book if you're interested in what the life is like for a childhood actor, as well as if you're just interested in Jeanette McCurdy's journey in general. Finally, number 1 on this list is going to be How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is a masterful book on, I wouldn't say human manipulation, but just the study of human behavior. Dale Carnegie was definitely the pioneer of social behavior and how to maneuver different cues. This book is filled with his rules, and I myself try to reread the book every year. Some years I fail, but whenever I go back to it, I always take away something different, or another portion of the book is more important to me now than it was back then. And it's because the further you get into life, you realize your priorities change. This book was written almost 100 years ago, and yes, some of the stories can be a little dated, but at the end of the day, the advice still rings true 100 years later. So if you're looking for just a way to become a better person and actually be able to handle yourself in public forums, I highly recommend this book, especially if you're going into sales. I really hope that y'all were able to get a little interest in a book you may not have heard about before, and even if not, well, I appreciate you listening this far and checking out my top 5 favorite self-help / memoirs. I hope that y'all have an absolutely wonderful day, and remember, keep reading.